Tyronn Lue has it came out. Woj said that Tyronn Lue will be taking the Clippers job, and one of his assistants is going to be Chauncey Billups. Now, I have always been intrigued by the potential of Billups being a coach, because this is a guy who, like, a lot of times we see point guards become coaches because it's kind of like the old adage about quarterbacks making the best coach in the NFL. Like, those are the guys that are leading the team, they're leading the offense. They're the floor generals on the court. They're usually like the coach away from the coach. So Chauncey comes from that sort of lineage. He was a huge, huge, huge reason for the success of the Detroit Pistons when they won their championship with Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. He was a huge part of that. And I think he definitely has a lot to teach, a lot to give the game and everything. So I'm curious to see how that coaching staff works out. I'm also curious to see what Lue does that Doc didn't. Um, One of those things I think will probably come down to keeping everyone accountable, because something that has been coming out more and more is the fact that once Kawhi got there, the other players on the team were not very happy with how he got treated compared to how they were treated. Now, I have kind of mixed feelings about that whole thing, because if, say, you're, Pat Beverly or uh, Zubac or, one of those guys, um, of course you're not going to get treated the same as a two-time champion, two-time finals MVP, one of the he's definitely top 5, probably top 3 player in the league. Of course you're not going to get treated the exact same as him. However, they're talking about how they would allow him to choose which games he wanted to play and not play to rest. He would choose when he could be taken out of the game. He lived in San Diego and was late to team flights and everything like that. I just think that is in poor taste, because I just feel like the elite of the elite, you don't see doing that kind of thing. Like, you don't see the LeBrons or the Jordans or the Kobes. You don't see them. First off, you don't see them late to things. Second off, you don't see them like requesting specific games to sit or rest. You just don't see a lot of those guys doing that. Like, you didn't even see Allen Iverson showing up just like late to all these things, blowing things off for no reason at all, asking to sit out games and stuff like that. That's not something you see from your best player, and also the player who should be one of the best in the entire league. Um, just as for instance, you have, according to Bovada, for the 2021 NBA MVP, Kawhi Leonard is in the top, I think that's the top 10, at plus 2,000. So, I mean, you even have odds makers showing that he's one of the best players in the league. They're already thinking he's going to be one of the, higher ups there for league MVP. So, I think that, yes, you will get treated specially. You will get treated better when you are that top dog, when you are that guy who, pretty much drives the revenue to the team. Because, you take Kawhi off the Clippers, they wouldn't have even been close to what they're at right now. So, yes, you will get your special treatment for that. But I feel like you should also show respect to the people who are there already and the people who are going to help you win this championship. Because, like, when you were in Toronto, you weren't about to disrespect those guys. In Toronto, they had a crazy amount of work ethic. They all were a very tight-knit group. Nick Nurse was even a new coach at that time too. But the whole environment in Toronto, you weren't about to disrespect those guys. Yes, they're still going to give you special treatment. They're going to give you what you want because they want you on your team and you can help them win as you did. But, you still have to show respect to the rest of the team. Especially, you can't just do that kind of stuff and then come into the playoffs, go up 3-1, come into the seventh game when you have all this rest from the whole season before. I mean, he was resting throughout the whole regular season. Then you hit a rest because of COVID, and you get to this, and then game 7, you just disappear. Like, that whole thing is obviously going to cause a little bit of anger in the locker room. Because if you're already showing up to stuff late, as they are saying, allegedly, and you're requesting games to just sit out when you don't have an injury, then people are going to expect you to be able to be at your very, very best when it comes to that playoff time, when it comes to the game 7 of, like, really that's what you're paid for too, and you don't deliver. I mean, at that point, yes, I understand it might be Beverly, it might be someone who's not on his caliber, but they have the right to call that out. I mean, even if they aren't giving, what you should be, they still have the right to call that out because everyone sees it, everyone knows it, everyone understands that's what you're here for, that's what they brought you in for, and if you're going to do all these other extracurricular things wrong, then you better deliver on the other end. Just saying.